Hi.
How are you?
Good.
So, I'm Angel, obviously. Um, I found verticals in 2023. I'm a single mom. I'm an Army veteran. I just kind of
Thank you for your service.
needed the escape
Hmm.
because I found them when I was at a really dark time in my life. I'd just gotten out of an abusive marriage, so it was like this. They just popped up, and I was like, "That's my escape," and now
Hmm.
I do it full time.
Love it.
Um,
Yeah, I've heard that a lot for people that it is like a safe space, which I feel like is such a beautiful thing to help create for people. So I love to hear that.
and then, oh, I calculated the other day. I've seen 2,100 verticals roughly.
Wow. So you're the
Roughly,
reason why Real Short has to make like one every day, basically.
basically. Um, I just on a good day I can watch like 6 or 7. Um,
That's great. Wow.
I have 80 plus apps on my phone, so
And you don't get tired of them?
no, not really.
That's awesome.
Because there's always something different in each one, even if it's like the typical, you know, one night stand, had a baby, hidden it. There's always something different about it that I'm like, okay, I enjoy this.
Yeah, and I feel like if you're really paying attention to them as much as you are, then you can find a lot of nuance in it. And I feel like even if the stories might have some repeating tropes, every actor is going to bring something different to it. And I think that's what's really so fun about the vertical world is, we're all doing this kind of soap opera wheel that's been very successful for ages, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, yada,
Mhm.
yada. But with the vertical space, it feels a little bit more personal, where like I know a lot of the actors, we get to know each other, and it's if I don't know them personally, I know of them. And then the fans in return also get to be a part of that little world, like the
Mhm.
fan casting and like all of that type of stuff, which I think is really unique to the vertical space.
Definitely think so. So how did you know that acting was what you wanted to do?
So acting all wasn't always my goal in life. I actually was a professional dancer first. So I grew up dancing and performing. I feel like I mostly did ballet, and there's a lot of, I believe, acting in ballet. If you look at narrative ballets like Swan Lake, Nutcracker, Sleeping Beauty, um, there is a lot of that fun there. So I feel like when I moved to LA to professionally dance, I was always kind of like the class clown. I was always getting trouble in school. And so somebody told me I should take improv, which is, the comedy, yes, and type world. And so I started doing that for fun. And once I started going to that school, they told me, oh, you should take acting classes at our regular school, like theatrical classes. So in the beginning of my acting career, I was kind of doing it for fun as an escape from dance, because when you pursue what you love, it's like putting all of your eggs in one basket, and it can feel very close to home, and then you start hating the thing that you love, right? Like being a dancer is probably one of the craziest things that anyone can pursue. And I tell people, like little kids who want to be dancers, like you have to love it 100% because it's kind of a tumultuous relationship, right? So acting was kind of my escape from putting so much pressure on myself in the dance world. And then I, so I was training on and off for years, but I actually toured as a dancer for 8 years. And then around, I'll never forget, 2020, I was like, feel like I've seen the world through dance. I'm so thankful, but I'm ready to start like fully pursuing acting. I almost booked a Netflix show, and it kind of just like switched my world upside down. And then the pandemic hit. And so then I kind of had to just like wade through that. And now I'm here on the other side, still choosing acting every day.
Your first role was as Blair
Mm-hmm.
in 30 Days Till I Marry My Nemesis.
Yes.
It was actually my first vertical of yours that I saw. So,
Love that.
um,
Well, that one was one of the early days, like in 2023. So that was back when there wasn't that many verticals to
mm,
watch. Um, Still, mine is amazing. Not saying that, but I know when people are like OG vertical watchers, they usually have seen me in Marks because it was one of those like beginning earlier times.
Hmm. So how did you land that role?
Yeah, so it's funny, I auditioned for it. My manager at the time got me on the audition, and this is kind of before I knew what verticals was. So when I got the audition, I just thought it was so the two scenes I had to audition. I remember one of them was when I woke up after being drunk, and I'm asking, "Did we sleep together?" But I'm a virgin, so I'm like weirded out. And that was one of my audition scenes, and I loved it. I just love playing like the comedy and things, and I feel like there was a lot of comedy in that. Um, and so when I got offered the role, I didn't realize it was a vertical. I thought it was like the wackiest feature film, like an indie feature. And so I was like, wow, this person went so full out with the script. Like this, there's a climax every 5 seconds. Like, well, we never sit down in this feature film. And then when they said it was going to be on Real Short, I was like, who's that? Like, what does that mean? So then I started researching, and I was like, oh. And at first I was a little scared because it was such a new space, and I was like, well, what is this? Is this kind of weird? Like, it's only on the phone. Is that like mean I'm a real actor? Because if it's not on TV or the movies, and there's all these like lies you love to tell yourself of why you're not successful or good enough or yada yada. And I will never forget after doing that first vertical, I actually, this is insane. I think the script is probably like 100 pages. I memorized the whole script before the first day because I was so nervous about being like the lead. That was the first time I was like the lead of a full length feature film, and what I thought. So I went crazy and I memorized the whole thing. Now I've learned that I can space it out a little bit, but I just remember leaving that set and like getting in my car and crying because I was just so happy to have done that job. And I was like, this is what I need to do with the rest of my life. I don't want to do anything else.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy playing the villain roles or the princess roles more?
So it's a mixed bag, right? Like I like playing the leads. But if anybody is a fan of mine in the vertical space, I feel like they could probably tell I'm very picky about the scripts I take. I try to always make sure I'm showing strong female leads. And if the story isn't a strong lead, can I find strength within her story? Right.
Hmm.
So I like to go for leads, but I try to make sure they're always putting women in a light that I want to portray. And as far as the villain roles, I have only done two. The first one I did with Real Short, I learned a lot about asking for the script ahead of time and stuff because some of the stuff they had me say in that I just wasn't comfortable with. And I didn't think or know any better to ask for a script beforehand. And so it was fun to lean into that. And I kind of played the villain as like a Blair Waldorf, like I'm rich and everyone else is like a loser. And that
Hmm.
was really fun. But it's hard, um, I think, morally to make sure that the villains always align with what you're comfortable to do because as you know these verticals really like to push boundaries and I have very strong boundaries. Yeah, but I really enjoyed playing the villain in Campus Rivals. I feel like that is the perfect villain where yes she's mean but there's a reason for it. Like I
Hmm.
don't believe people are innately evil. I feel like they become evil because something happened to them. And so if there were more full-fledged villain storylines, which I do believe will happen eventually in the vertical space, I think I'll take on more of those roles, but until then I like to do leads.
I mean, that's fair. Speaking of campus rivals, I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Love.
What was it like? Like, what were your thoughts when they were like, "Hey, we're gonna have this many people cameo, like Jeff and Nick?" And because before it came out, I remember being in a chat room and just seeing like they were like, "You'll never believe the cameos," and like they just sent the list, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, "What is happening?"
Yeah. I mean, Eric and Adam did an amazing job with putting that together. I think Campus Rivals is the perfect example of what happens when you let the actors have a bigger say in the production side of a project. Because usually, I mean, actors are regarded as like, shut up and act, do your job.
Hmm.
But Eric was the producer and Adam being the writer, they had a lot more say. And I think they were able to make it kind of like this fun experience where people were willing to come in and play for a day. I'm actually really sad because there were even more like cameo moments and like lines that got cut out. Like Ashley Michelle Grant had like a cute line that didn't end up making the final edit because I feel like whoever was set to edit this didn't realize that these aren't just like regular extras, they're huge like vertical stars.
Mhm.
So it was a little frustrating in the end because it's like, there's so much more that we wanted for the fans, but I still think it was really cool.
I know a majority of us have enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like of all the verticals I've done, it's one of like the strongest feedbacks I've seen and like the most fan interactions, which I really love.
Do you have a favorite role that you have played?
Favorite role?
Or like
Hmm.
top two or three?
Yeah. I really loved playing Alice, and I became Miss Grayson by bragging. I feel like that one's on Drama Box, and that one, the director Yutong I had worked with previously, and he had worked with Nick Puya previously as well, and he kind of just like really trusted us to follow our instincts. And I've had so many people tell me it's their comfort vertical, and I feel like it's because they let us play the fun. Where like a lot of times when you're on sets in these verticals, these companies have these very specific guidelines that they want to hit, and they think this is what's going to make people watch, and it's like drama, drama, mean, punching, we need 40 slaps, we need someone falling to the ground, somebody. And I feel like they forget that, like, yes, drama is good, but we also need to balance it out with a little fun.
Mhm.
And I really felt like Alice got to be a full-fledged person, like that wasn't just getting beat up all the time, or like she was having fun, or like being silly, or like having a crush. And it just felt like I got to play a full character. And also, I have one coming out on Viglu soon that's going to be called The Teammates or The Quarterback's Doctor. And that one is really fun. I had a lot of fun on that set.
Out of all the characters you have played, which one can you relate to the most?
Mm. So funny because I feel like these, I feel like I play like a mom a lot or like pregnant a lot, which is just like a vertical thing, but is neither of those things I've personally experienced. Um, No, I feel like to be honest, none of them are really that much like me. Like even I think about oh no, I married my husband. Like my character Beth passed out like 4 times in that. I've never passed out in my life. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things. I guess like the closest one to me, probably to this day, would be 30 Days Till I Marry My Nemesis. I think Blair was just like the, I mean, obviously I've never gone back in time, but like the way she handled situations and her relationships with both of the guys and her best friend, that one feels kind of closer to home for me.
Um, so I don't know if I'm sure you've seen us around because we're making our way. I'm in a group and we're called the Vertical View Crew.
Oh, Vertical View Crew?
Yes, so there's,
Cute.
I believe, 8 of us.
Okay.
We're all reviewers, and sometimes we'll do like a collab review where we pick a vertical, then say a
Yeah.
couple lines, and we put it out
And like
there.
make a post about it on Instagram and all that jazz.
And so it was started by Megan, Real Drama.
Hmm.
Um, so it's got me, Aline, I love verticals,
Hmm.
Dahlia, vertical films lover, Empress Liz, portrait, who is Portrait Story Diaries, Hero, vertical underscore fan,
Hmm. Hmm.
Kay, which is short reel critic, Sarah, escapism via verticals, and
Hmm.
this vertical slaps, which is K and J, I think. I don't know, they don't use their names.
Hmm.
Um, I was like, hey, talking to this gorgeous woman tomorrow, like, what would you like to know? Sarah, escapism via verticals, goes, tell her that I love her so much.
Oh my God. I love that. Tell her I love her back.
Um, Aline who is I Love Verticals. She's also the one who does the Vertalis. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
The what?
It's called Vertalis.
Vertalis.
She created this whole world like on Instagram. It's got
I don't know if I've
its
seen it
own
yet.
Instagram page and everything. But
Vertalis. I'm gonna have to look that up. Vertalis. Huh.
she like takes actors. Like she did one for Cayman or Dan Yangwa. And she has different evolutions of them. So like Cayman, it's K Kid or something. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
just pure. This is Cayman, and then his evolutions are like some of his characters.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's got a werewolf one, he's got a vampire one. It's super cool. Um,
Sounds cool. Yeah.
she created merch for it.
Wow.
Has she has like different islands, which you know would be essentially like the United States, just China, Japan, and then she has platforms instead of platforms. So she puts so much into this page and
It's so cool.
fantastic. But she wants to know what your dream role is.
My dream role, I feel like it's a mix of two things. So my biggest like would heal my inner child would be to do something fantasy. Like I am a huge book nerd. I'm always reading a book. I'm really into fantasy. So I would love to play an elf or a fairy or something fey like that. I grew up on Lord of the Rings. I played the video game. I watched all the movies. I read the books. So I always said like I wanted to be Legolas, but I also wanted to marry him. So that's confusing. So that's like kind of my first dream. And then another dream of mine that I keep trying to hit is to do some type of show involving dance, just so that I can like marry my two loves. Um, but it's really hard to do dance shows or dance movies. I feel like they're few and far between. So I'm always like, come on, have one slap for me.
Just one.
Just
Um,
one. Then I can
Dahlia.
retire.
That's it. That's my last one I'm ever doing.
Or at least retire from dance. That's what I mean.
Fair.
Hmm.
Um, Dahlia at Vertical Films Lover wants to know if you had the opportunity to redo any vertical that is out there, yours or somebody else's, would
Hmm.
you? And if you would, which would you choose?
Hmm. I feel like I don't know if this really falls on me, but I'm gonna say it. The two verticals I did in China, I feel like for me personally, I just wish we could redo them in the US because there was a lot of dubbing that had to happen, not for like the main four characters that they flew over to China. So the first one that we filmed was called Falling for My Callboy CEO, and the
Mhm.
second one was From Last Pick to First Choice. And both of those are on Kalos TV and mini shorts. And I love the plots and like the story, and the four main characters were great. They flew us all over. It's Travis, Brandon, and Lawson. And Lawson is like my literal human. But I think because we were shooting in China, it was really hard for them to find English speakers. So they did this thing where they just like dubbed them instead of like looking for people who could actually just speak English. And it was really hard as an actor to act with people who couldn't speak good English. And then also sorry, my cat is needs attention always. Um, and then also when I was watching it, when it came out, I think having all the dubbing just like kind of pulls you out of the storyline. So if I could redo any of them, it would be those two, and just like having it be as good of a production as it could have been. I think they did the best that they could with what they had,
Mhm.
but I feel like kind of lowers the quality of the overall films.
A lot of people know you because of Fated Deal with the Mafia King.
Ah, yes.
Mhm. It's such a great
Do
vertical.
number two. I'm like, give us Faded Mafia King too. I literally have talked to the executive producers I could short. Like, I am ride or dying for you guys trying to make a number two happen since it ended on a cliffhanger, but they had some internal shifts within the company, and I just feel like it's not going to happen.
Well, we just got to keep pushing for it.
Me and Jake are down.
It's great because I know so many people like really enjoyed that. I think I just made an edit for his fandom page
Mhm.
uh, the other day, and it was all just Jack Mignani.
Yes. We had like that. I'm not even kidding. That set was the most fun I've ever had. I feel like so that comes across on screen because we're all just having a good time. Even though it was a hard set, like we went into overtime a lot and it was just like really good people. So we were always laughing. And I just feel like the storyline was good. It had so many ups and downs. I mean, spoiler alert, like I don't know if anyone hasn't seen it, but like Gio's character ending up being like his half brother and with his sister and it was just like crazy. Like the ending, I was like, I was reading it like, this is crazy. I would have never guessed that this would happen. And I just feel like they're not making them as intense as that anymore. And it makes me
Mm,
sad because I just loved it so much. That script itself was 140 pages.
good
hmm
lord,
Yeah, it was the longest shoot I've ever done for Vertical. We were in Atlanta for 14 days, or we shot for 14 days. We were there for longer than that.
that's insane.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because I remember watching it, and I was so mad that Gio's character died, and
Oh,
then I was
same.
like, obviously
But you know what?
spoilers, but
It's a vertical world. He could come back from it. I just was watching The Hunting Wives and this lady got shot in the head and then she came back, she just had like a brain injury and I was like, "Oh, okay. We can bring Geo back from the dead." And Hannah. Hannah's character's like riddled in bullets, but I'm like, maybe she's alive.
but it was just like wow, and you realistically you could because you see the craziest things,
Yeah,
like
you never
something
know.
like they should never survive that. They're
hmm
just walking out all
Oh,
perfectly fine, and you're like,
I mean, the last pick to first choice film I did, I get bodies checked by a car. The way they edited it, it looks like my body flies across the scene. And I was like, oh, I'm dead. Like, I'm totally dead. And then the next scene, they just have me in the hospital with a band-aid. I literally was fighting with the producers. I was like, give me a cast, give me crutches, give me anything. They're like, no, it's fine. I was like, this is not realistic. I just got hit by a car full speed. Like the edit of it is so funny. I literally have a clip of it that me and like anytime I'm with a vertical person, I'm like, look at this, look at me being annihilated by this car right now. Anyway, yeah, so we could definitely bring Geo back from the dead because me, Geo, and Jake have so much fun together.
mm.
I would love to do that.
I was more mad about the cliffhanger because I was like, but she's alive and she's right there.
I
What is
know.
happening?
It's such a good cliffhanger too. I reached out to the EP and I started like writing ideas. I was like, okay, so we pick up where we left off. Jack is in rehab, so he's learning how to walk again. Molly is the mafia queen, right? And then I would have to play the his ex-wife, and that's the new villain.
Mm-hmm.
And then Geo comes back and we're all like fighting the old meat. Like there's just so many things we could do with it that it just is
So
really
many.
annoying that they're not taking advantage of it. I don't know why Good Short doesn't want to like get a piece of this gold. Because I've seen other apps do part twos.
I have two. The biggest one is Candy Jar,
hmm
and I, of course, I didn't think I never thought part twos were going to be made because
Yeah.
none of them have yet. Um, and then I was on Candy Jar, and I must have just timed it just right because I was watching, I think it was either The Arrangement or Mason, and I had gotten to what I thought was the last episode. It tells you the episode count, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm on the last episode, and then it scrolled to a new scene, and I was like, what is happening? And they had like just dropped part two as I
Oh
was watching
wow.
part one, so I just continued, and I was like, what is happening right now?
That's so lucky.
But there are very few verticals that I'm like, this needs not wants, it needs a part two. That is one of them because I'm just like,
Yeah.
there's more to the story.
There's so much more. I know.
Yeah, our ADHD got into on the
I
same
know, sorry.
wavelength.
Did you have a question about Mafia King before I
I
got
don't
angry and
remember.
was like, where's the part two?
I think it was about a part two, like if you had
Mhm.
wanted to film a part two.
Oh yeah. I've literally because I've since just this past year I've done two verticals on Good Short, The Lycan Queen Fights Back and Smile they changed the title. It's like Smile,
Oh,
My
it's
Cheating Husband, You're on Camera.
yeah, yeah.
And both times I'm on those Good Short sets, I'm yelling at somebody. If a Good Short rep comes in, I'm like, "Where's Mafia King 2?" Like I'm there with you guys. No one's listening. I don't know if Jake's doing his due diligence. I can go yell at him and see, but I am trying.
Might be,
I don't
might
know.
be.
He's more shy than me. I'm very outspoken.
Oh, so my one-on-one is gonna be fun. Cool.
No, he's the sweetest man in the world, like love of my life. But I feel like if anyone's gonna yell at the producers of Good Short, it's me.
I can see it though. I can see it. What is my phone doing? My phone has all my questions, and now it's being all weird. If you could write a vertical and cast it, what would it be about, and who would you cast?
I could write a vertical.
Do
Hmm.
you have the desire to ever write a vertical?
Not at this point in my career. I feel like writing for me is kind of like choreography. I'm I can fall easily into the trap of perfectionism. And there's something about when I'm acting that I'm just so present in the moment that it's hard for me to be mean to myself and get that perfectionist syndrome. But anytime I found myself writing or choreographing for dance, I start to be like, well, that's stupid. You know. So writing isn't something I haven't explored yet. But if I were to write one, it would 100% be like a Game of Thrones type, you know, two houses fighting each other. Obviously, I'd have $1 million budget because I'm like, we need unicorns, we need dragons, we need like a big like sword fighting scene. And then what I would really love, Cairo, what I would really love to challenge in the vertical world, instead of having like an innately good character and an innately bad character, like what if it were two houses or two families and both of them had their reasons for doing the things that they're doing? Obviously, I would be at one house and then I would either a part of me is either Lawson would be the head of the other house, or I would force it to be me and Lawson are best friends instead of fighting each other, and that would be like the start of my cast.
Yeah, it's very hard to like pick. I have people ask me all the time, like, who's your number one favorite? And I'm like, I don't think you understand. I have a list of like 200 actors.
Yeah, there's no way to know. Like I feel
I'm
like it
not
just
gonna be able to pick a number one favorite. I have like top one. My top one has like 12 people in it,
yeah,
but I'm not gonna be
it's
able to single out one person.
and it's so hard because no matter how talented any actor is, it really depends on the role, right? Like, am I going to be cast for the same thing as Vanessa Nottingham, who I've done like a couple verticals with? Probably not. She's shorter than me, is blonde, has like an innocent, childlike aura, where I have a more like sharp features. It's these things that, yeah, could we play any character? Sure. But are we going to be fitting the mold of something specific?
Hmm.
Better, so it's like off the top of my head, I would love to work with Adam Santa Cruz. I literally the whole time we work together, we're just laughing. So anytime I can work with him, I'm very happy. Same with Lawson. And what's really beautiful about working with Lawson, because I've had the amazing opportunity to do it so many times, we have built such a strong trust with each other that like I know no matter what choices I make, because a lot of times, especially in the verticals, they're very cut and dry. They want you to perform it the way it's on the page. We get two takes and then we're moving on to the next scene. So
Hmm.
there's not a lot of room for play. But when I'm acting with Lawson, I know I can like throw her a curveball or try it a way that she would never expect. And it's not gonna like ruin the take. It's gonna like allow her to make a different choice and play around. And that's like the funnest thing you can do as an actor.
Okay. Yeah, because if you would have asked me in like 2023 when I first started watching it, I would have been like, oh, it's a toss up between, you know, Eric and Casey because those were my first two. And like
Yeah.
beginning of 2024, it'd be like, hey, Sam, not Sam, because Sam's didn't come out till May. There would have been a toss up. Now I'm just like, no, I'm
Yeah.
not
There's so
even
many talented
tempted.
people. And like the more popular verticals get, the more actors are willing to do them. I think when I first started verticals, there was kind of a stigma around them still. That's
Mhm.
the walls are kind of being broken down a bit around
Um, is there a specific genre that you have not done yet that you would like to do?
fantasy, which I've said for sure. I feel like it's not just the vertical space, like also any type of medium. I think it would be really fun to do fantasy, sci-fi, action. I think because I have a dance background, I'm always looking for ways I can incorporate physicality with my acting. So if
Mhm.
there's like if I was an assassin or a warrior or something like that where I knew I could do like fight scenes or like stunts along with acting, I think that would be really fun.
Do you ever get to just do your own stunts?
I try to do all of my own stunts. Like when the Lycan Queen fights back, I the sword they got me was actually like a foot taller than me. It was 30 pounds. It was so heavy. So I was training with Aaron, my stunt coordinator, to be able to pull it out of the rock because
Hmm.
it was so much larger than me. And I was practicing like chopping off my werewolf sister's head. So like I'm like spinning with the sword that is literally I could not have lifted it with one hand because it was so heavy. But like I just drilled it a bunch of times. I actually train in stunts for fun on the side so that I'm able to like I mean obviously I would never do like really big stunts like I would get a stunt professional stunt person, but like the little stuff fight scenes and being able to handle guns and stuff I want to be able to do that myself.
Um, is there an actor or an actress or both that you haven't worked with that you would like to work with?
Mm. Yeah, I feel like there's so many. The first one that comes to my head right now is Cayman. I think because he followed me on Instagram, and even though we hadn't met in person, I followed him back. And so I've been watching his work, and I've heard from other actors and people in production that he's like a dream to work with, but I really respect his grind. I feel like he works really hard in his acting and it comes through. You can tell he cares a lot, but he's also really smart in the business side of acting, where he's constantly posting on Instagram, supporting any new shows he has coming out, interacting with fans. I feel like he is not only a great actor, but he's also great at the business side of acting. And I just want to pick his brain and see how he like juggles it all.
He was I had interviewed him I think right after my birthday. Um
Mhm.
he was a fun chat. It was
Yeah.
very like respectable. Yeah, respectable dude. I just had his weekend watch list and I
Hmm.
thought it would be funny. Not funny, but like it's his personality. Like
Hmm.
it's something that he owns. Is the background is Care Bears.
Your bears.
He's everybody calls him K Bear.
Yeah,
So
which is
I
so
was like,
cute.
this is perfect.
Oh my God, my cat. Excuse me, sir.
He wants to be in the spotlight.
He is desperate for attention always.
Sounds like a normal cat.
Mm.
Um, is there an actor or an actress that you've only worked with once that you would love to work with again?
Oh my God. I feel like every single guy that I've worked with, I don't know why I never get to like repeat act with anybody. I feel like some people get lucky and they get to like work with their duos again. But I feel like every guy I've worked with has been amazing and then I never get to see them again and I'm sad. Like I and me and Jake, I think for a year after doing Mafia King, kept submitting each other for like jobs. I mean, casting does not care about us at all. But if they're like, oh, we're still looking for the male lead, I'd be like, what about Jake Hobbs? Or like I would like always submit people and they'd be like, no, it just like never lines up. So like I loved working with Ollie. Um, I love working with Jake. I love working with Nick Puya. Like all of them, I feel like I just wish I could be on like a 6 season show with them because I have so much fun.
But that's good. I don't think I've heard one person say that they haven't had fun on set, which is so refreshing to hear, and who is actively reviewing them, knowing that like you have fun making them.
Yeah, I feel like that if you're not having fun making them, then you're missing the point. Um, I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're 12-hour days. They're very long and they're tedious. We're shooting 15, 20 pages of dialogue. Like it's a lot of work, but when you're pursuing acting because it's such a hard thing to do successfully because there's so many people who want to do it and so little jobs out there that you have to really make sure that you're cherishing every moment that you're on set. And so I think a lot of us actors and probably production, sometimes we just like sit back and we're like, wait a second, we're acting. Like this is fun. And then especially because the vertical plots can be so crazy. So it's like, all right, you're kidnapping me today. Let's do it. Like you can't not have fun while you're just doing these like outrageous storylines.
I think I was just I just watched the interview that Robert, Eric, Nick, and Sam did on YouTube.
Mm.
It was so funny because I can't remember who exactly said it, but they were trying to like describe a vertical, and they're like, "Oops, my werewolf billionaire alpha
CEO. Yeah.
CEO pregnant by," and I was just like, "That needs to be a title
Yeah.
because it's
I
just so
usually
chaotic."
like my pregnant by my baby daddy CEO billionaire werewolf because like, just as the longer you can make it, the better.
um, what have you seen within or change within the vertical industry since you started acting in verticals?
What have I seen changed?
Mm-hmm. Megan from Real Drama wanted to know this.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest thing I see are storylines going two ways, right? Like the first couple ones I did, Mafia King, 30 Days to Revenge, Oops, I slept with my husband. I feel like these storylines were really fledged out. And then now I feel like we're seeing them so much that now people are either taking these storylines and simplifying them, or they're like, we've done the storyline enough. We've got to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, uh, I just did two last month that were both of these in the opposite ways. I did one for what's the app? NetShort? Oh my God. I think it's an
There's
app
so
for really
many, so I don't even blame you for not knowing.
I think it's NetShort. It's called Pay when it comes out. It's called Pay Your Rent with Love, unless they change the title. It is like every vertical trope. I'm getting slapped. I'm getting kicked. I'm, pregnant. We don't know who's the father. Oh, I'm tricking them. It's just like every vertical trope. They're like, this is what people want to see, and we're going to do all of it. And I'm like, okay, we're doing all of it. Then I did the quarterbacks team doctor, which will be out on Viglu right after that. That one has no slapping, not a single slap, which is crazy, right? For a vertical. And it felt like I was in a real movie. So I feel like that's the biggest difference I can see is people really leaning in to like the vertical tropes and then like leaning away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I've seen some, like, obviously I'm not in the like industry yet, but I think it's changed a lot because they were just like simple, and now I haven't been able to finish one because of like domestic violence, and I'm just like, what is happening right now?
Yes, I think this is a huge problem that we're running into right now. And there is a group chat with the vertical lead actresses or vertical actresses, not just lead. And a lot of times we're talking, but like I just saw one today that was like I had to turn down a role because of the violence in it. And I think a huge problem is a lot of people are like, I didn't know until I already signed the contract that this is the script. So I've just been really advocating to people, don't accept roles and till you read the scripts. Signed an NDA, get the script, and make sure that it's within your gauge of morals. Because the thing is if you go past what something you feel comfortable doing morally, people might not know that, but you'll know it forever,
Hmm.
right? So like there are just some things like I remember I got an audition for a real short uh vertical that was military based, and both of my parents are in the military, and I auditioned for the lead and they asked me if I would be willing to do the villain, and the villain was saying some stuff, some really awful stuff about military veterans and people who had gone to war, and me personally I was like, I cannot say those things. I have two veteran parents.
Hmm.
Maybe that's not somebody else's, you know, gauge, and they'll be fine saying that. But for me, morally, I'm not going to budge on that because I could and I could take the money, but then I'm just going to feel terrible afterwards, right? So I think when we're seeing domestic violence, I think it's really important for the actors to put their foot down. I put in all of my contracts, if not in the email, I will never support domestic violence or glorify abuse in any way. And if you try to change the script after I've already signed on to it, I have the right to leave at any time.
Hmm.
So it's just important to protect yourself and know like glorifying abuse is not something I'm okay to do.
Yeah.
Unless it's the bad guy and they get what's coming to them. There's a
Exactly.
no world in which a guy should be able to abuse you and then end up with you in the end.
Yeah. Um, okay. Some lighter questions.
Yeah.
We've gone really deep. If you were a drink, right, any drink in the world, alcoholic, non-alcoholic, what would you be?
I feel like I would be a vodka Red Bull because you're here for a good time, baby. You're gonna have a lot of energy, and I feel like something I get told all the time is like I'm just really goofy, and people are surprised. Like I said, we shoot for 12-hour days, and I have actors all the time like, how do you still have energy? I never am drinking Celsius. I never drink actual energy drinks because I just don't need them because I literally am high on life because I'm just so happy to be acting and like doing that stuff. But I feel like my energy could definitely give Red Bull vodka vibes sometimes,
That makes sense. I drink that
which
in
might be a
Germany
little too
all the
much for some
time.
kind.
So,
Yeah.
what is a quote or saying that you live by?
Um, I think I think there's two things that come to mind. What's meant for you will never pass you by. And I think that's like a really important one as an actor. There's so many like jobs I've auditioned for that it was really heartbreaking not to get, and reminding myself that it was never meant for me has been a really big help in me being able to continue to do this work. And another one is what other people think of you is none of your business. I think that's a huge way people have asked me before how I'm so confident or um, how I carry myself with confidence. And I truly think the key to confidence is only the only opinion who matters is your own because you're who you have to hang out with for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
So you need to be happy with you, and whatever people think about you, they're allowed to think that about them, about you. It's none of your business. As long as you're happy with you, then that's all that matters.
That's a really good one. I've heard a lot of really good ones. One of them I'm never gonna remember because it wasn't in our language, but
We'll have to
uh,
look it up later.
oh jeez, I would have to go back and rewatch the interview with Richard. Um, have you been like offered to be exclusive to an app?
You know, I haven't, and it's kind of offensive, even though I'd probably say no. Um, no, because I remember when Real Short started doing that, I was actually surprised they didn't ask me, but I had already started working with Good Short, so I think they're very like particular about like they want their people to only be on their app and whatever. And I've had some executive producers at Good Short talk to me about it in person that that was something they might be interested in. So I was just like, yeah, send me paperwork, I'll let you know. But I'm not like married to the ideal of it. I feel like being a freelancer is very important for me. And at the end of the day, I love doing verticals, but I am also still dancing professionally. I still do commercials. I'm still auditioning for TV and film. So my fear of locking into a contract like that is the not being able to do any other um, opportunities. And I'm like someone who always likes to have a little dabble here and a little dabble there, especially when it comes to my career.
I mean, that's fair.
You're organizing these, and I literally booked it yesterday.
You did.
Yeah.
It was
I'm one of
you
those
booked
people.
yesterday. I just did Richard's interview, I believe on Monday. I'm
That's so
pretty sure I
funny.
just did his on Monday. Okay, I need to check my Google Calendar because there are some people who, still haven't set up a date, which I completely understand, right? 'Cause
Hmm.
you guys are
Well, it's
busy.
hard.
You're
Yeah, that's
complete.
why I,
That's why I'm like, hey, here it is. These are the days that I'm available, and it goes out to like I think I currently have it set to like October.
mhm.
I'm just like, whenever you're good, whenever you're free.
That's why
Um,
I'm like, if I'm free, I have to do it now because in this industry, you just never know when you're going to book something. So I'm like, I literally have tomorrow free. I actually ended up getting an audition, so I had to go coach a self tape, and I literally got home and I like pounded a bunch of cheese, and then I jumped on here.
you just ate cheese.
Oh my God, I had like three pieces of string. I had like three string cheeses, and an apple. I don't know, it was easy.
That's fair. Which I'm thankful when you guys do book. But I also understand like when you can't book right away. I'm just like, okay, I'll check back in a few weeks.
Yeah.
That's fine with
Well,
me.
the next couple of days I'm filming for React, which is the YouTube channel I work for. Um, it's like people reacting to things. I've been doing it for the last like 5 years. And
Mhm.
those are also like 9, 10 hour days. So I'm like, I gotta do this now.
That's
And
fair.
React always tries to book me when I'm not like on a vertical set. So they're like, "Are you free?" I'm like, "I am."
I think I've seen if I'm thinking of the right YouTube channel.
It's like there's like one called People versus Food, and then there's another one called React.
Yeah, if I'm, I think I've watched quite a few of their videos. Now I have to go see if I've seen any that you're in because I'm like, wait,
I've done a lot. Yeah, you can look up BMARS and React or People versus Food. I've been doing them. I
okay.
started doing them when I had a bob. Like my hair was so short.
I was on a roll and I remembered what my next question was gonna be. Now I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Um, oh, if you could give advice to your younger self, what would you say?
Mm. Engage your core more. No, I'm just kidding. I feel like this is just like the prima ballerina in me. I feel like I don't know, there's no way this is like not actually what I would say, but like as a kid, I wish I was like um I mean I went to ballet every day, but a part of me wishes that like I went like even harder so that I could have been a prima ballerina because that was like my dream. But unfortunately when it comes to ballet specifically, you have to be like the best of the best by 17 or else you're not going to make it. So I was always a good dancer, but ballet specifically, I wasn't good enough to be in like a prima ballerina. And I feel like I still will go to the ballet these days and like cry because I'm like, oh, it's just like a dream I had. But like, how are you going to tell like a 4-year-old to like work your muscles harder? Like, you just don't know when you're a kid. Like, you know what I mean? But in all seriousness, um, I think what I would tell my younger self, um, I think I would tell them this quote. What is it? It's like, this too shall pass.
Hmm.
Because I think for me, I have a lot of anxiety. And I always did growing up, even when I was a kid and I had nothing to be anxious about. I would just stay up all night thinking about what I had to do the next day or worrying about what I had said earlier that day. I just have like an anxious, overactive mind that never turns off. And I don't think I shared that a lot with people. And I wish that I had somebody just tell me, like, it'll be okay. I don't know if I would have listened to them, but just like it will pass. Like I don't know. I just felt like so much as a kid I overanalyzed everything. I
Hmm.
was like, "It's fine, girl. No one's thinking about that conversation you had 3 years ago." And I'm like, "But I am, because I said this thing and it was weird. Why did I say that?" Like, you know? Or like breaking up with a boyfriend or whatever, it's like the end of the world and it's like it'll pass.
Hmm.
You know,
I get that.
that's my dog. I'm sorry if you can hear that.
No, I can't
Jax.
actually.
He likes to look out the window and bark down at dogs. He's like a little mean old man.
He's like, get off my lawn.
Yeah, literally, that's my dog, the other dogs. And he's like 10 pounds. I'm like, you can't take anyone. Like, you would lose in the fight. Like,
He thinks he can, and that's all that matters.
he does. And he will bark from the balcony and he'll let them know.
I love that. Do you have any tips for someone who is trying to get into the vertical industry?
Yeah, I think the really great thing about verticals, it is kind of like taken Hollywood back to what it used to be. Because right now there's so little TV and film being made that if you don't know somebody who knows somebody, it's almost impossible to get an audition for Netflix, Hulu, HBO, any of these big time things. And what's really nice about the verticals is it's brought us back to what the golden age of Hollywood used to be. There are always auditions on Actors Access. And there's so many verticals and so many platforms and there's so many opportunities. So really the only excuse you have is you have to submit. That's it, right?
Hmm.
I mean, I think if you want to get into this game, like it's really open to you. They're looking for all types of characters. Um, and there's so much competition that all you have to do is submit. I feel like the hardest thing about being an actor, being a dancer, creating social media content is starting. I think so many people say they want to do these things and then are so afraid to put themselves out there. And the worst thing that can happen is you hear no. And you're already hearing no by not submitting yourself, right?
Hmm.
So it's like, just put that picture up and send it in. Film yourself doing a monologue if you don't have any fancy footage of yourself. I remember before I had tapes of myself, I had um, just filmed myself doing a monologue against a white wall. I looked up female monologue, so that on my Actors Access account, which is where a lot of auditions are posted publicly, um, I just had a monologue of myself yapping from a play, and that got me auditions. I did a lot of student films until I could get some footage. I think it's just you have to put yourself out there to get the job.
Hmm.
But I know with Actors Access, you can kind of filter by location. So be submitting where you're closest to.
Okay.
And if you really are serious about acting, you might want to consider moving. They both have their pros and cons. I think if you wanted to start in a smaller market and kind of get your feet wet, Atlanta is great. They have a couple of major production. A Real Short has a whole facility out there, and there's other productions doing verticals. But there's also Tyler Perry's whole shoots every movie he ever does out there.
Hmm.
A lot of the AMC shows are shot in Atlanta. So Atlanta has a hub, but it's a lot more affordable than New York and LA, so that you can like kind of get your feet under yourself.
Hmm.
Unless you wanted to go, balls deep, then you obviously go to New York or LA. But that it is a big jump. And like before I moved to LA, I saved up for I graduated college and I stayed in Pittsburgh and I worked 4 jobs for a year until I had enough money to move out to LA and have like a safety net for myself.
Do you have any questions for me as a consumer who just watches or as
Mhm.
a vertical reviewer who actively?
I guess the question I have is I feel like there's very apparently like some well, we all know why the men have the bigger fan base, right? Because they're the cutie patooties of the world. But as someone who has been in the vertical space for a while, I always wonder why I feel like I'm not I feel like there's like some of these vertical girls that are favorites and I don't always feel like I'm within that group. And I'm wondering if it's do you think from your opinion it's the sheer volume of verticals people are doing that they're getting more of a fan base or the verticals they're doing just hit like they're more viral?
Um, I think it's I think it's more of like the verticals that they're doing goes more viral.
Hmm.
Um, of course, everyone has their different tastes of like who they think. Like someone, um, I think I'd posted a review and someone was like, "Well, I didn't like her," and I was like, "Well, that's cool. I do." Like
Yeah.
because then again, I'm not super picky with acting, but there are a couple where I'm just like, I can't watch their stuff, which is fine.
Hmm.
There's 100+ different actors out there. Um, I think it's more of just like how big and how much their
The
work goes
vertical views
viral.
get. Yeah, I always wondered that because I'm someone who only does like one vertical a month.
Mm-hmm.
Um, maybe I'll do two. But I like to take breaks because I think A, it's important for my mental health, and B, like I said, I'm still doing other um, stuff like dance and commercials and whatnot. But then I was like, because I don't have like I haven't done like I know some girls who've done like 30 verticals, and I'm like, am I stunting my growth, like my connection with the fans because I'm not doing like as many verticals as everyone else, or the ones that I'm doing just happen to not go viral? So then that's more of the problem, which that's nothing the actor can control at all. That's just
Yeah,
like how much advertising the company puts into the
because
marketing
like
and stuff.
out of yours, the ones that I actually got advertising on, like
Hmm.
I wouldn't have known about some of these if I wasn't on the app or actively looking at your IMDb.
Yeah,
But
which
like
is crazy.
obviously, and it also I think another big part is it depends on who your male lead is
Yeah.
on how high the views get because like we all know that Mafia King has gotten tons.
Hmm.
Everybody loves Jake, which
Hmm.
is fair. He's a great actor.
Yeah,
Um,
lovable guy.
but like I only saw Cherished by my ex-husband brother because I was on the app and I was just like, okay, I need things to watch. Um,
Both of my drama box verticals that I did, they didn't advertise them at all. I have no
mhm.
idea why. Like they're my favorite. I love Cherished by my ex-husband's brother, and I became Miss Grayson by bragging. And I don't know why Drama Box didn't push either of those. And it's like so frustrating because I'm really proud of those projects.
I only ever saw one ad for I Became Mrs. Grayson by bragging.
Hmm.
Um, and I think it was on TikTok.
Yeah,
But like last pick to first choice, I wouldn't have known about it if I didn't go to your IMDb.
crazy. And like you know what one I know they advertised so much is the one I did with Tyler Shear. It's called
Mhm.
they changed the title. It's like Step Aside, The Lady Boss Returns or something.
Ex-husband step aside.
The Lady Boss, yeah. So that was a different title, but I don't
Hmm.
remember. But it's so funny because that one they advertised that one so much that like I had random people be like, "I saw you in an ad." People I didn't know,
Hmm.
and I was like, "Oh!" But then it's like Mobile Reels, which is like a smaller app. So I think the app was trying to like promote itself more so. Where Drama Box is like, we don't need to promote our verticals because we're already a well-known app in the vertical space. It's very interesting to me, like the business side of things.
I also think the app is a big one because, like, obviously, Real Short's big out there. Um, Drama Box is a pretty big one.
Hmm.
Good Short's getting up there. Candy Jar is big,
Hmm.
and there's one more that was on my mind, and I can't. Oh, two more. Dreamy Short, Dream Short. I don't know how I
Hmm.
would say that because there's an E right in the middle,
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I haven't done them yet.
and then Viglu is getting up there, but
Yeah,
it's
and
all like
Viglu's is slow but
advertising.
steady. Yeah. And I feel
Uh,
like Viglu is like one that I'm really enjoying. I love Candy Jar stuff. They don't make as many projects.
mhm.
So there's not as many auditions for them, but I love Candy Jar. I would love to work with them eventually. And Viglu, I'm really proud of Campus Rivals and the last one I just did. So I'm excited to see I feel like they're challenging the vertical space and elevating the storylines, and I'm really excited to keep seeing
They
where they go.
really, they really are. Because, like, I don't think, don't get me wrong, I love all of my vertical apps. I love almost all the ones I've seen. But, like, they're not pumping out a new vertical every day.
Hmm.
And so the ones that I have seen, I don't think I've seen a bad vertical on Viglu. I haven't seen
Yeah.
one that I had to stop watching. I haven't
Hmm.
seen one that I was like, oh, I can't watch this scene, or hey, I'll come back to it. Unless I absolutely had to, like I was working or my child woke up or something.
Hmm.
Like they're working on the beginner verticals where it's this is really good content.
Yes. Or
Um,
like I'm proud of like I feel like the verticals on Viglu are able could be like movies, like rom-coms.
hmm like
Like
Matrimony, Jackson Tiller and JC Ann's, I think newest one. Um, it was it was comedic, and I was like, man, this could be a what did Eric call him earlier? Zanies. This could be a Zani.
horizontal.
Yeah. Because you've got verticals, which are apparently birdies. So now you've
Birds,
got
yeah.
horizontals, which are Zanies.
I love that. I'm gonna steal it.
Right? Just start using it.
Yeah.
He'll start something without even knowing it.
That's so funny.
Um, Verticon and Vertfest. You're part of Vertfest?
Yes. But Vert Fest, I'm very excited for. I have like a meet and greet one-on-one session with Lawson. So I guess it's a not a one-on-one, a meet and
Like group?
group. Yeah.
Oh, group, yeah.
Um, and I feel like me and Lawson have done 6 verticals together. So if anyone can tell you anything about vertical, and it's me and Lawson. Um, and then I have a panel about Mafia King with
I
Jake and Gia.
tried so hard to get that group and I couldn't, and I was very upset.
Oh no.
Unless they added more tickets.
Yeah, I'm not
'Cause
sure.
it's like a group of the three of you, and I was like, I need this.
I know. I know.
Mhm.
I should hit up Jake and see if we should be together in person while we do it. But Gia lives in New York, so we wouldn't be able to do that. But it might
Yeah,
be easier.
it might be. Um,
Mhm.
I think in 2023, I was like, these aren't gonna get very big, and then I just continued watching, and now I'm like, all I do now I have a whole Instagram page about it, which I didn't ever think I'd have. I didn't think
Yeah.
I'd have a review page. I didn't think I would be running 3 fandoms. Like,
I
I
mean, it's
didn't think.
crazy. You're watching them. There's no one else better suited to do it, though. You're able to like watch them and give real-time feedback. There's nothing that's more valuable than like hearing, at least for me, I'd love to hear what the fans are thinking about it. I mean, so much about making any type of entertainment is out of your control,
Mhm.
but it's interesting because a lot of times I notice like what the fans think is also how like the actors feel. But it's awesome to see everybody how much they're loving the verticals because we're loving to do them, obviously, and it just feels very like what's it like a positive circle of give and
Mhm.
take and feedback, which I'm really thankful for.
If you were to ever get like negative feedback on a vertical, what I guess like how would it make you feel and how would you take it? I know some of us won't post our like bad reviews because we're just like,
No,
no.
I think okay, so I have been creating content on social media for like since 2016. So like I have a YouTube channel. I was vlogging what it was like to be a dancer. My partner and I have a Facebook show. So I'm no stranger to hate comments or people talking negatively about me or sharing their opinion. And I think in this business, you just have to let things roll off your back. And the thing is, that if someone's going to talk about my acting specifically in it, like I'll be like, "Oh, okay, that sucks. There's room for improvement. Good to know." But if they're talking about the plot holes, the way it's edited, that's stuff that's not even in my control anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're talking negative, like I remember a vertical I did recently called Design for Desire on my drama.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why the app did this, but they decided to like shorten it. There was like scenes that they didn't include and like storylines, and so it ended up being a lot shorter than what we initially thought. And I think a lot of fans left being like, I wish this was more pledged out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I also wish it was like the original script. Like, I don't understand. So it's like that might be like a negative review, but it's not anything I can control, right? And if someone's going to talk negative about me, especially if they're talking about like my looks, I'm like, what do you want me to do? Get plastic surgery? I'm not going to do that. Like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
My face is my face, my body is my body, and I'm not changing that for anybody. And I think that really kind of circles back to that whole what other people's think of me is none of my business. You can
Mhm.
write a comment on it, and I'm like, okay, that's a reflection of you. If some, if they're going to write something that's like outright mean, like I've
Mhm.
had people bully me online before, especially on like YouTube comments like back in the day. And I was like, this person, they're calling me, I think my like most common one is she doesn't have any boobs. Ugh, she's not a woman. She doesn't have boobs. I've never had boobs. What if I never, no one, never did I claim to have boobs.
Yeah.
Like, so like, you're just like stating a thing that like you can see if you have two eyes. So I could take offense to that and be like, oh, I'm a woman. No, but it's like, no, yeah, I have small tits. Like, that's fine. Like,
Mhm.
you're not gonna hurt my feelings about that, And like, but I think that comes down to again, just like being very happy with yourself and being like very comfortable with how you show up in the world.
Do you have any more questions for me as a consumer, a reviewer, or that anything you would like to see, like, I guess just from like the Vertical View crew or the community?
No, not that I can think of. I feel like I'm honored anytime you guys write reviews, and I think like you don't have to be afraid to write if you didn't like a vertical because that is just feedback that hopefully the verticals will take on. I mean, like, again, the actors can't really do much about it. We're just doing acting jobs, but maybe who knows if the creators at Real Short, Good Short, Drama Box are going to see the feedback and then make better verticals. I think it's
Mhm.
really important, especially for you guys to speak out about the violence against women and children sometimes that we're seeing in these verticals and stating that it's not okay. And we're
Mhm.
not going to support that. We're not going to watch that because the strongest power we have as consumers is our dollar and your watch time. So if you see that, turn it off right away and write a negative post, tag them. I think Jen
I
is
love
like
them.
a really great advocate of being outspoken about like what is not okay. And I think the more I know personally, I worked with a producer and they were trying to get me to do something that I had explicitly said I was not comfortable doing. Um, and I was like fighting with them tooth and nail. And I was able to take some of Jen's posts and send them to the producer and be like, see, the fans don't even want to see this, what you're asking me to do. So I'm not going to do it. And it
Mhm.
helped me make my point as an actor to have your guys' support. So anytime that you are feeling some type of way because you're a review account, I feel like it's important to share your truth.
Okay. But I do appreciate you for coming on and actually, chatting with me and
Yeah,
listening
I
to me sometimes. I
no, I
can get on
appreciate
a
you
high
inviting
horse.
me.
I can get on a high horse about my Vertical View crew.
No, I'm super honored to be able to be here and talk to you, and I feel like hopefully provide some insight on this fun little vertical world we're all a part of.
Thank you for taking your time. I'm free all the time.
Well, I'm glad we got to do this. I can't wait to see it.
Oh, it'll be
No
probably this
pressure.
week or
No
next
pressure.
week.
Whenever you can. Don't worry.
Okay. Well, I hope you have a good night.
You too. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.